Oh, what's up, everybody? My name is Big League Chew, and today we're going to be looking at what makes the Skyrim Civil War questline so dang bad. Why is it so bad, guys? Why is it just not a good questline? I've played Skyrim a lot. I've played it so much. It's my favorite game of all time. You could say I'm a Bethesda shill. Not true, because, and I'll just get this out of the way, Fallout 76, bad. Skyrim has bad things about it, but it's still my favorite game. So much so I have bought it like 5 times. I am the reason they keep making it over and over and over again. So please direct your hate in the comments down below. So let's get on with the show. What makes it so freaking bad? The Skyrim Civil War questline could have really been good. It had a whole lot of opportunities to be good, and I'll get to those later. You guys have seen the funny pictures, the funny ha-has, where, you know, it's like the one small girl and the 5 large men behind her. Essentially, the player is the girl, and the Skyrim Civil War questline is those 5 men. So let's just get right in there. Let's just jump right into that bad boy. We're going to talk about what it does good. And this is a small part, because I don't think it does a whole lot good. Number 1, sets up the next Elder Scrolls. In my opinion, that's what it does. Because the main focus of Skyrim is the dragons, and you're the Dragonborn, you're the last Dragonborn. So obviously the Dragonborn's not going to be in the next game. What could carry over? I think it's going to be the Thalmor. I can make a whole video, and I probably will, on what I think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be about. But the Thalmor still exist. Whichever side you complete the Civil War questline, whether you are a little Imperial boy with your thighs showing through your armor, or your big old strong Nord boy with your blue armor, blue versus red, on Netflix now. But no matter what side you pick, the Thalmor still exists. You know, if you choose the Stormcloaks, they're gone, but they still exist. And if you choose the Imperials, they're still there. You know, they don't go away. So I think that that's a big part of what Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be, because you got to think about it. Who's the one faction that everyone hates? Besides me, it's the Thalmor. Everybody hates the Thalmor. Another thing it does good is it gives decent rewards. What I mean by that is the loot it gives, or not the loot. Every time you complete a quest and you get an item, it's like, oh, here's a position of, it's like an item that shows your new rank. You know, it's bullshit either way, but it's ranked with your level. So if you wait till later in the game to do it, you get better stuff. I just did it, and I got a Daedric sword of like fire to do, like, because I killed a couple Stormcloaks or something like that. I sold it, and you get a decent amount of gold, and that's what it's good for, is the loot it gives you. You can just sell it for a profit, and I think that's probably the best thing that comes out of this quest. Another thing it does well is the quests are good for combat and ranking up your combat skills. So if you are a mage and you want to level up your destruction or your conjuration or whatever, go clear out some castles with Stormcloaks or Imperials. And if you're one-handed, two-handed, unarmed, whatever, go beat up some bad boys and then level it up. That's it. So it's a good quest to give you XP and stuff like that, because you do a lot of killing and a lot of clearing out of forts. And the last thing it does well, in my opinion, and this is probably my favorite thing. I know I said the other one was my favorite. No, this one's my favorite now. There's a part in the main quest line where you have to get the 2 sides to agree to come up to High Hrothgar to have a little meet and greet, get to know each other, stop the war that's killing hundreds of innocent men. The best thing that comes out of this whole little meet and greet is you have the option to kick the Thalmor out of the meeting, or you have the option to leave them in and let them listen. The Thalmor suck, they're the worst, so I always kick them out. I have never once in my 7 years of playing Skyrim let them stay, and that's exactly what happens. You get to watch Ulfric Stormcloak called, I don't fucking know what her name is. You get to call her a Thalmor bitch, or you get to see someone call her a Thalmor bitch.
To think that I would sit down at the same table with that Thalmor bitch.
And I like that. I like that a whole lot. I think that's really fitting. Oh, so what does it do bad? Because it does a whole lot of stuff bad. so bad, in fact, that I'm going to split it into two groups: gameplay and writing. And to be honest, gameplay has a whole lot more wrong with it than the writing does. So let's start with gameplay. What does it do bad? Well, it's the same quest over and over and over again. You just end up going to, your superior, being like, hey man, what can I do? And they're like, hey, we're gonna take you to this castle. You gotta clear it out, dude. It's on you. Can you do that? And you're just like, yeah, yeah, I can probably do that one. And those sieges, this is number 2, by the way, and those sieges are boring. You run in there and you just kill a bunch of people, and that's it. That's all they do. And I understand how it's like, that's probably fun to a lot of people. That might be. To me, it's not, because the combat in Skyrim is not good enough to have a whole quest line that dependent on it. So it doesn't work well. That's what makes the sieges boring. And in those boring sieges, this is number 3, you get no tactics whatsoever. You don't get to think like, hey, let's attack at night or let's attack at day. You can do that. You can wait at night or you can wait till day. There's no actual advantage to doing that. You don't, catch them off guard with some soldiers being asleep and some soldiers not. Like, it's always there. Who cares? Whatever. No matter what time of day you attack, there's no advantage. No matter from where, what side you attack, you can't even pick that one because the people that you go meet are on one side, and you run in the front gates most of the time, and it doesn't make any sense. There's no tactics involved, so it's not really a siege. It's just a fuck it, send everyone in, and I really hope the Dragonborn can finish this out. Speaking of like fighting and like just like rushing in and stuff like that, there are no field battles at all, and I don't understand why there are no battles like in fields, like just in large open spaces. It doesn't even have to be an open space. Hell, go on the top of a mountain, go in a forest, go in my mom and dad's bedroom. I find it weird that that's not in there. One of the mods I would really recommend to anybody playing on computer at this time is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's just like, it lets you stumble upon various battles that are happening, in like the open world, which gives a better like sense of exploration and makes the Civil War feel way more real. And that's what's, Skyrim's kind of needing with this, in my opinion. You see the two sides. You see a hill lined with Imperials. You see a hill lined with Stormcloaks, and they rush down and they clash like in every fucking medieval movie there is. That's because those scenes are cool, dude. They work that way, and it's not in Skyrim, and I understand why. I just don't agree with it. Number 5 kind of ties in with number 4. Why is it when I siege these dang castles, I'm attacking with like 10 guys? It's just me and 10 other guys just being dudes. You know what I'm saying? We're just out with the boys, getting some gnar, attacking some castles, getting some gold. Actually, there's not that much gold in this quest line. That's why you gotta sell the loot. But there's 10 people, and I know that if you're on Reddit or you're on some forum for Skyrim, you know exactly why. It's because at the time it was made for 360s and PS3s. They didn't have the power to actually do that, to actually have more people in the sieges, and I understand that. Alright, I talked too long, so the camera shut off. So I'm assuming most of you know what the game Mount & Blade Warband is because you're on this channel. However, if you're not, it's a medieval sandbox RPG, and it's a ton of fun. And one of the reasons it's so much fun is because the sieges are great. The battles are great because you can have so many people and, have these huge, awesome, really, really fun and engaging battles that allow for immersion to come out and be very prominent and really in your face. And that's what, this whole quest line needed. Didn't have it. 10 people. And the number one reason why the gameplay in this quest line is so bad, you cannot fail a quest. Bethesda, I am not a 10-year-old child. Actually, when this game came out, I was in 8th grade, so what, I was like 14? Yeah, I was like 13, 14. Okay, so I was kind of a child, but you couldn't fail a quest. That, like, How does... There's no consequences for anything that you do. You cannot fail to do anything. The Siege of Whiterun is where they could have separated it and made this questline one of the best questline in Skyrim, but they don't. What I mean by that is Skyrim is a fantasy game and it has magic, dragons, furries, but this is the one questline that they kind of focused on realism in it, as in medieval combat and, you know, a civil war, and you gotta stop the other side from doing what they want to do, and you don't want them to do that. In this Siege of Whiterun, you cannot fail, just like any other siege, but you cannot fail it because they don't want you to. If you're attacking or defending, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is eliminate a certain amount of opponents, and then you win. You're done with it. That's all you get to do. And it doesn't make any sense. And now, what's bad about the writing? Let's get to the biggest thing of the writing. And I got two more things. They kind of coincide with each other. The reasons they give you for why you have to go siege a city, siege a castle, whatever, they suck. They're bad. It's like, Ulfric may attack us soon. Let's take this castle. Let's just take that one right there. That one probably be good. And then after that, let's take the one over there, because we should probably get that one before we attack their capital. So if we get that one, we could, I mean, we'd have more castles. Add 2 more lines. Be like, yeah, so this is a supply route. We take it, we curt their supplies. That's it. That I would be like, wow, dude, yeah, let's get that fort. Let's get that supply line. And this carries on to my third and final reason. The dialogue is so bad. Every time you have to go take a castle, they're like, hey, go take this castle. You can do that? You up for it? Your answer every single time is, that castle is as good as ours. I don't care if that's what you say at the last thing. You should be able to say more. You should be able to ask, why are we going after this fort? Not to be one of the people that just says Fallout New Vegas is better because it was made by Obsidian. But Fallout New Vegas was better in this case because they gave you the chance to be a dick to people, or they gave you a chance to be like, yeah, okay, we can go. Or you'd be like, no, that's dumb. I'm not doing that. And this is another thing. This would actually probably go in, it could go in gameplay or writing, both. The thing is, when you're on one side or the other, why are you still allowed in the opposing factions like capital city? I mean, I understand why you can't have, you know, them banned from all cities that the other faction controls, because that's not fun. The player has to be having fun. However, at least make it to where you can't get in that capital city. This brings us to our final round. What do I think could make the Skyrim Civil War questline better? So, number 1, this is in no order, but number 1, give more options to take castles in different ways. I'm not talking about the big sieges like if you siege Solitude as the Stormcloaks or Windhelm as the Imperials. I'm saying those, you know, those really grindy ones that you have to do over and over and over again. Make those more fun, because that is my biggest gripe with the quest. Let us shoot fire arrows over the walls and like hurt the troops before we even siege. Let us poison their food supply, or let us do something like that. Like, let us do something different every time, not just the one time. Another thing that they could have done better was to give an option to talk to like the generals, talk tactics with them. So let us talk strategy with them. Let us talk like, hey man, why are we going to this fort, dude? I've said this before, so I'm going to skip over this pretty quickly, but like, let us talk to them. Let us be like, hey, why? And then get an answer. Number 3 is, I think that they could have added in more stuff like the Jagged Crown, as in close to the beginning of the quest, you have to go get the Jagged Crown for your side. I can't remember what it's for. Don't really know why it's important, but you have to go get the Jagged Crown. So what you can do is, even if you join the Imperials, you can take it to the Stormcloaks, or even if you join the Stormcloaks, you can take it to the Imperials. So it's your last chance to pick the side that you want to be with, and I think that's really cool. But they could have expanded on that. If you're playing like a thief or like a sneaky assassin, espionage, whatever, you know, if you're playing that type of, you know, player, which most people do as a stealth archer, it gives you a chance to play the Civil War questline in your role play, in your niche, in your play style. You could go to the Imperials and be like, hey, so I joined the Stormcloaks, I got the Jagged Crown, I have it here, I know you want it, and I know that I have information that you want. What can I get in return? And you could extort the living crap out of them because you have no care. You have no motivation to be in the Civil War unless you're role playing as like someone who lives in Skyrim or someone who's like a diehard Imperial. What reason do you have as the Dragonborn to pick a side in the Civil War? This is probably the biggest one, but there's more after it. But give the options to fail quest. I think I made that pretty clear. Can't defend Whiterun, fail. Can't, take a fort, fail. Oh, this is like that show Tobuscus did where he, what was it, like something win, fail? I don't know, cute win, fail? Was it that? But seriously, it gives the player a sense of urgency. It would have given the player a sense of purpose, like I have to do this because if I don't, I'll fail the quest and the other side will win. That would have been cool to see the other side win the Civil War. Another thing is, and if I'm being honest, is coming from liking Mount & Blade Warband so much, is if you are attacking and like capturing enemy cities, make it to where they can attack back. And this is my last thing that I think they could have done to make the whole quest line better, and it would fall under the writing category. Make it to where the whole Imperials secretly worshipping Talos thing, make that way more prominent. I think that would have been super cool to have in there because, and it's already in there, because if you're on the Imperial side, spoiler, if you're on the Imperial side and you kill the Stormcloaks and you kill Ulfric Stormcloak, Legate Rikke, whatever, she says like Talos guides you or something. She says something. And so what that could have done is that literally could have been a big part of the questline where you find out someone in the Imperial army is like worshiping Talos, or you find out that most people in the Imperial army worship Talos, which I believe is actually in the lore. And you are faced with the task of, hey, do I tell someone? Do I not tell anybody? Do I care about this? Do I extort them? Like, it could have been so cool. They could have done so much with that, the whole banning Talos thing, but they didn't do it. There's a whole lot of things wrong with the Civil War quest line. And I heard a saying recently. I don't know who it's from. I heard it from Paratosh, one of the mods for this channel. And I think it's a quote. But it's like, he said something like, the Skyrim Civil War questline is like everything that's wrong with Skyrim in one quest. And this is kind of like a preview of the next video like this. Is the Dark Brotherhood questline is everything Skyrim could have been. That's it for this one. If you liked it, thank you. Please like it. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. And then I actually am curious, what would you have changed about the Skyrim Civil War questline? Did I not mention something that was a big part of it? Did I miss anything? What would you change? Leave that in the comments below. Please, for the love of God, get my interaction rates up. That's about it. Thank you. Bye.